The Pokemon market downfall is real. I've been pretty bullish on this market to the point where people call me a shiller. But I've told you guys, whenever there's a downturn, whenever there's something going on, I'm telling you guys the truth. I'm showing you the data, and it's real. The downfall is 100% real. Notice I haven't called it a crash yet, but we've seen a pretty big pullback. There's nothing that's denying that it's true. I mean, if there's any YouTuber out there telling you the Pokemon market is still extremely strong and everything's still good, they're lying to you. I mean, look for yourself, guys. May noticed, in the past few days I've been making more videos talking about the downturn because it is truly real. And today I go on TCG Player and I look at Mega Evolution, and it's become even more real because prices have dropped even more. I made a few videos, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when we started getting the second wave of product, the 40% more, I guess, supply we were getting of the booster boxes, and prices started to drop. I was sort of documenting where prices were dropping, and I was following it all the way to where it would maybe bottom, and it seemed like it bottomed at like 250. And when it hit 250, we saw spike in sales. The next day, it went to like 260, 270. Then I remember the day after, I made a video, 280. It seemed like things were rebounding really quickly. Wow, there's still some strength in this market. Well, just recently, in the past week or so, prices have continued to fall from where they were climbed back up at 280. And yeah, they're back to their all-time low at 250. And you may notice something. Look at the graph on the bottom right here. You'll see in the middle, that is when prices were falling and we were getting the second, wave of, supply. And while prices were falling and, sales volume was increasing, that's how prices were going up. But now you may have noticed in the past week, if you look on the right side of the chart, prices have continued to go down even further, yet sales volume, if compared to the middle of the chart, they're actually lower than when prices were higher. Guys, that's a sign of a downfall. And what's really going on here, huge pullback. It's the facts. There's no denying that. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys the downfall of this market is real. Now, like I said, I haven't said it's a crash yet. I don't think this is the end of all because there's still things to think about in the future that may, spike the market back up. One possibly being the holidays. That's a possibility, right? Is it 100% going to happen? No, but it's a possibility I've been talking about. I think that during the holidays, spending might increase. People buying gifts for family members, for their children, whatever. That could spike another thing. Phantasmal Flames, that release is going to be important to see what happens, right? And then next year, we still have the 30th anniversary. Everyone has been pointing to this 30th anniversary. That's another like sort of I guess point in this market that's going to be pivotal. Is the 30th anniversary going to maybe spike things back up? Maybe, right? And maybe some other sets that come out. There's still a lot of things you can say that will happen in the future that could potentially move this market back up. People talk about, I don't know how big of a thing this is, but like tax returns, people talk about all these like small things. Honestly, I don't know how much that actually, affects the Pokemon market, to be honest. I feel like that stuff is a little bit like over exaggerated. But it's kind of like people talked about, you know, stimulus checks or whatever, with how that during the whole like last boom that increased spending. I feel like that sort of stuff is kind of not really relevant. But there's things in the future. What I'm trying to say here, there's things in the future that are that are relevant, that could push this market back up. So that's why I'm not calling it a crash yet. I'd say if we get through the holidays, we get through the 30th anniversary, and the market still hasn't picked back up, and everything continues to kind of be stagnant, and some things in the new stuff continues to go down, I will then maybe say, yeah, this is kind of the start of the end, where the end of the bull market. Not that everything's going to crash, but that, I guess if you want to call that a crash, that, we're not going to see crazy $300 booster box prices at release and the crazy sales volume. I guess then maybe I'll make a video calling it the crash. But just as of right now, the downfall is really real. There's like I've checked everything: Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, now Mega Evolution. There's nothing really going up, guys. There's really nothing. Everything is stagnating or going down. It's the fact. You guys can look for yourself. I've been making videos talking about it. Sword and Shield, stuff is continuing to go down. Lost Origin booster boxes, guys, are now 700 flat. It's dropped $200 from 900. Let me do the math on that. What is that percentage drop? 200 divided by 900. What is that? 22%. So I guess, it's not like 50% or anything, but for Lost Origin, guys, that's pretty, a big of a drop for a really popular set. It's not like it's like Battle Styles or something. So, things are truly falling all across the board. And, that's why, I've honestly been more cautious with buying new releases. I think people out there need to also do that as well. I've even talked about some of these products, like for example the Mega Charizard X UPC. People are buying that at like 260, 270 when supposedly there's a lot more supply of this product from what reputable sources have been saying. The market is right now not really that as strong as it used to be. Why would you buy this product at that price point? It's like this is a time, obviously, to take advantage. Well, if you still want to invest in stuff, take advantage of things that are, especially out of print stuff like Sword and Shield. I still think is a great time to buy. Possibly some earlier Scarlet and Violet stuff, maybe Paldea Evolved, stuff like that. I think those are still great opportunities. But for the new releases, like I'm talking about, even like, Phantasmal or Mega Evolution maybe is at a, possibly a bottom here, but who knows even at this point. I would be more careful with the new releases if you're buying, because, just look at Mega Evolution. There looked to be a little bit of some light, sort of with this set, with how much it was selling when prices were falling after the second wave. But look what's happened the past week. They've just dropped even further, and sales volume hasn't been as high as they were, previously. So I just want to share this with you all that, this is another example of the downfall being a real thing, and there's no denying it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys the market's extremely strong. It's not. It's obvious things are going down and things aren't going up anymore. If we had a mix here that, there were some things still going up, like maybe 50-50, it would be a different conversation. But how can you not point to a downfall and say what it is when literally everything from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet is all pretty much going down or not really doing anything? You can't. So I'm here to tell you guys what's going on. Market is going down. Doesn't mean it's crashing yet, but it's a pullback. And for those people out there that we're trying to flip these products, expecting to pre-order and sell a month after release and double your money, doing it in this market is pretty risky, and honestly I don't really recommend it. That's why I've talked about how some Pokemon investors are getting destroyed right now, because they were expecting that with possibly Mega Evolution or some other sets, and now we've entered this market and it's not, and there's no skyrocketing happening at all. And if you expected that, well, and you needed a credit card bill to pay, you're going to be losing money. So that's all I want to share with you. Just another video about the market falling down. It is the situation, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm showing you guys the data, what's happening. It's true. So that's all I want to say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.